Happy New Year. Just wanted to say blessings to you, and I wanted to do a video of optimism for 2022. I'm optimistic about a couple things for Tai Chi. One is my own personal daily training. I'm very optimistic about it. It's going to change this year since I teach at a acupuncture university. They want 24 form. Before I was teaching the 8 form, the first 8 movements of the long form that can be repeated. After brush knee, you can go right into ward off left and then ward off right, and then it repeats in loops. Though I'm not too happy about the doing 24 form, it takes a lot of room, and it's really 24 form needs more than 10 weeks to learn. Of course, the classes will be 3 hours, but I'm not optimistic, students are going to like it, but I'm optimistic that, at least we'll get a lot of time to do a lot of the different forms, and I'll be sure that they're going to be doing the basics solidly. And I'm optimistic that Qigong program's changing. Before, it was just Bodha Jin and 6 healing sounds, and then they've broken it up into 2 courses, just like they did in Tai Chi. So Tai Chi's been split into 2 courses, and then they want to do the same thing with Qigong, so that's broken down into 2 courses. So the first course will be Bodha Jin and 6 healing sounds, and then the second course will be 18 Tai Chi Qigong. And then I'll kind of put in a little bit of Neigong in there as well. So the past couple years has been real busy with, in my own personal practice, the Neigong through the Michuan Yangjia Association, because Wang Yin, who had learned from Zhang Qi Lin, they did the Jinshin Pai. He had learned from Jinshin Pai. So that's the center of the Neigong that I learned. So I've been very diligent in that in the past, and I'll continue throughout the year. Other things I'm optimistic about Tai Chi, and I think it's just going to continue to help people through the pandemic. I'm also optimistic about my acupuncture practice. Things have been going really well. When people got vaccinated, the patient numbers increased dramatically, and people are coming and going. Though we're having a little bit of this COVID Omicron variant has had the last 2 weeks, people have been not coming to the clinic as much or canceling their appointments. Just maybe someone in their family may have tested positive, or they're going to go get tested and they just want to be sure that they're feeling okay. I'm still optimistic because people are coming and people are growing and getting better. So when I don't just give my patients acupuncture needles and they're in and out. I'm teaching them diet. One, acupuncture is not going to work that great if you're not eating well. If they have to eat something good before or after their acupuncture treatment to keep it going. So I've been teaching them about the diet, the cold, warm, and hot foods, and to try to avoid those cold and hot foods and stick to the warm and cooling foods. A lot of them are picking up on the principle and understanding that, how the food does affect you, how food affects you. And then that's their job. I'll do the acupuncture. So the first pillar is diet and herbs, and I'm doing good on getting patients to try the herbs. Acupuncture, that's my job. Encouraging them, teaching them some acupressure points and encouraging them to get massage as well. Of course, I do Tui Na on them as part of their treatment. I like to do a little bit of Tui Na to get them to relax more than I typically put the needles in. So I'm optimistic about that. And then teaching them a little bit about Qigong, especially the anxiety patients, teaching them about the Dantian, the lower diaphragm breathing, getting the diaphragm to come down, get more oxygen in, breathing with more the belly and the abdominals rather than shallow up in the chest. So every patient of mine gets that lesson. I ask them to do that while the needles are in, and to do short bursts here and there throughout the day. if they've finished something, before they go into the next thing, maybe take a 5-minute break to do some Dantian breathing, or before they go into a meeting, or, before they go driving, or, it's like going in neutral in your car. Before you go to first gear, you got to be neutral. Before you go to second gear, you got to go to neutral. So I'm optimistic about that. And lastly, with Tai Chi, I'm optimistic about the fake Tai Chi is getting more exposed. More people are starting to question it. The truths are coming out. And I like the law of karma. I really shouldn't have to do anything. Just let, karma do its role. Let someone's kingdom fall on its own. Because if you're not being truthful, karma's going to come back to get you. Okay, so I am optimistic we are going to, eventually get out of this pandemic and get back to a normal life despite the powers that be. With that said, that's the end of the Tai Chi optimism. You can stop the video because I'm going to go into some other optimism I'm happy about in my own personal spiritual growth. So over 30 years ago, I was very much into philosophy. I took a lot of philosophy courses when I was in college. And, I came into Tai Chi through having done some yoga. I had the book Integral Yoga Hatha by Swami Satchidananda, who's in Charlottesville, Virginia. And at the time I knew that there was more to yoga than just the asanas, which is the postures. If you understand the 8 limbs of yoga, you know that there's a lot more. There's pranayama, there's meditation, there's samadhi, there's 8 different limbs. So it's kind of sad to see in this day and age most yoga people only know just the asanas, like the postures. But that's just one of 8. So I'm happy that all the Neigong that I've been doing and researching kind of segued me back into the Indian yogas, because I read the Upanishads probably 35 years ago or so, and that led me into reading about Zen, and I got into some Zen, and then one of my friends was like, "Oh, you're doing Zen? Well, I'm bringing a Tibetan teacher here to America." And so I got to be one of the first disciples of Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche of the Lungmincha Institute, which is now in Charlottesville. But he started in Richmond, Virginia. And so Tibetan Buddhism, we have to understand where Buddhism comes from. And this is what I'm really passionate about, is going deeper into the origins of things. So before Buddha, there was, the Upanishads, and around the same time as the Buddha was, the Yoga Sutras came out from Patanjali. That's around 500 BC. The Upanishads have been around since 1500 BC. Now the Chinese claim that their history goes back 4,000 years. And I respect that. There was shamans and shaman kind of like emperors that studied the herbs and yin-yang theory and I-Ching that comes from the ancient Chinese. But Lao Tzu who spoke about the Tao wasn't until 571 BC. And the Buddha was apparently around 500 BC, 5 to 600 BC. And so the Upanishads goes back a lot further. And what I really like about the Indian teachings is they're much more open and not secretive compared to like a lot of the Chinese Neigong, which is written in a very encrypted and obscure language. The Indians want people to know and grow. They're very open. They want people to understand the nature of the mind and the knower and the knowing. So I'm really optimistic about where my own personal studies have turned back into India, which I feel like is a much older culture, much more open teachings, like Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, some of the chapters of the Bhagava Gita that talk about meditation, again, the Upanishads, which are, there's many different Upanishads, and Shankara's Advaita Vedanta teachings of the Atma Bodha. They're very clear teachings. And I want to point out that I'm not a teacher of yoga or meditation, and nor do I want to be. I'm doing this for myself. I learned these things for myself. And I'm the type of person that will point you to that direction. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm the Buddhist teacher. No, I'm going to say, okay, go over to this monk. Like I'll say, go to Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche. You want to learn Tibetan Buddhism? Go there. If you want to learn Zen, go to this master. If you want to learn the yogas, go to this person. Go to Swami so-and-so. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a monk. I don't think that's very healthy. So, I'm not a monk, and I don't claim to be. And I don't pretend to be. So, and I don't care to change your life or belief systems as well. This is my own journey I'm just talking about. So I'm optimistic about this year, going back to studying some of those things, but still doing my Negang, which is where I had my teachers, and explore some of the Tibetan Buddhism. I've learned a lot of great Tibetan Buddhism from the Dzogchen tradition, which is Vajrayana. And so I'm going to count my blessings this year. One thing is to kind of transcend that proofreader's mind I've always had. I need to start looking at the whole picture rather than looking at the details. I can walk into the house. My wife said, "Oh, I cleaned the house," and I'll find a problem. And not looking at the whole picture. So, just trying to correct my own faults. I've definitely had the proofreader's mind, and so I need to kind of transcend that. And then work on my own forgiveness, reflect on where I've hurt other people and where people have hurt me. One of the reasons why I'm in acupuncture now is I got tired of that corporate world and poor reviews. How can you get poor reviews on a job you've done forever? So yeah, just transcending that and finding forgiveness. So I'm optimistic about this year. So, all right, so just want to say, Jayo, have a good year, and all the best for 2022.